That's right. I do have a little bit of smarts in there. So, we all do dumb things. We're all there. But that's, again, Isaiah talks about who God is and how great he is. And he says, remember this and do what? Be brave. Take to heart your transgressors. Remember what happened long ago. For I am God and there is no other. There's only one God. When all around, what's that old hymn say? When all around my soul gives way, he then is my all, my hope, my stay. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. We can say that because he's God. There's no one else like him. And he's in charge. And the idea of growing, of getting, maturing, of growing in faith. We think, well, Jesus never experienced that. He doesn't really know that.
Yes, he did.
Well, I like art. I have no talent, but I like art. And one of the things that really interests me about art is the way Jesus is painted as a baby. And so many times in medieval, Jesus is painted with an adult head. He's even got a receding hairline. There's this one painting where, he's got this giant head, totally out of proportion with the rest of his body. And what they're trying to show is the God of the universe came, but he's still got all that stuff in his head. And the answer is that's not true. And how do we know this? Because of what we're told about Jesus himself. After going into the temple and being there for 3 days, and his parents found him, remember? And he then goes back. And how did he live after that? And Jesus, what? Increase. What does it mean to increase? Get bigger, more, in wisdom and stature, and in favor with God and man. Jesus grew up like we grew up. Learning, increasing. Now, increasing in knowledge, one way to think of it is just like this. Oh, well, he sat down and studied. This word increase, though, has a different word picture. Did anybody know what a samurai sword is? What's a samurai sword?
The Japanese war sword.
It's a war sword, yeah. Do you know how they make them? Let me show you a little video clip. It's an incredibly long and complicated process. This is part of it. They heat the metal up, and then what do? Why are they pounding it? Shaping it. They're lengthening it, right? That's how the sword gets, from that little thing, it gets beaten out. And they are lengthening it by pounding it. They shape it. And eventually, they're going to do more of this. They shape the tip. The tip is curved, and they're banging on it to make that tip. And that banging is how they make the edge. Now they then refine it and file it and polish it. But all of the hard work is through that pounding. When it says Jesus increased, it wasn't just through sitting through Bible studies. He went through experiences in life, just as painful as yours and mine, Now, his wasn't caused by sin, but part of his growth was through that. And I find that surprising. But then again, God is the God of surprises. What does it mean to be surprised? Not expecting it? How about this as a definition of surprise? Surprise comes because the future is not here at the present yet.
That's true.
Write that down. I said something true. Surprise. There's something in the future, but I don't know what it is. And so when it comes, I wasn't expecting it. The idea, when it says that Jesus is our great high priest, doesn't mean that he lived, on top of a mountain somewhere. He was down in the dirt, just like you and me. And he lived a full life and experienced everything we do, except without sin. We think we can fix things if we only knew more. It's like this scene from Back to the Future.
So how far ahead are you going?
About 30 years. It's a nice round number.
Look me up when you get there, all right? This will be about 47.
I will.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye, Annie.
He's going Doc Brown is going to go ahead 30 years because he doesn't know what it is. And we somehow think, well, if I only knew more, or if I knew what the future held, that I could either prepare for it or avoid it or something else. The truth of the matter is that we wouldn't and we can't. God is the God of surprise. And when it comes to your purpose and my purpose for the things he wants us to do, a lot of that involves surprise. It really does. And surprise has 4 kinds of pieces to it. The first part of surprise is God's preferred method. The night before, the angel appeared to Mary to tell her that she was going to give birth to the Savior of the world. No one came up to her and said, "Psst, psst, an angel shows up tomorrow." Nobody showed up the day before with Abraham and said, hey, baby, God's going to call you tomorrow, so you better get ready. Think about all those momentous moments of your life. You didn't know.